Hey there. Thank you for stopping by. Just want to say welcome to my channel. Super excited to get this on the road. It's something I've been thinking about for a very long time, and I think I have a lot I could share with you. I wanted to share some of the things I've been up to and talk to you about how things are shaping up for a guy like me who's in his 50s. And just a bit of background on me. My name's Derek Lildar. I've been in the technology space for over 30 years. Started when I was young, um, and it's been a good run. And sold ERP software, so kind of got into it as a technical guy. Learning to code. Went to one of those colleges in the 90s, learned how to code. From there, you know, got a job coding, software, and didn't really like it much. Moved off of that. Decided to go to get into a different line, maybe more of the consulting, and start doing that, and which was really good. It was fun. And then I got into sales, or something called pre-sales, right? Technical sales at first, and then I did that for a bit, and it was good. It was actually really good. I enjoyed that part of it, and then I got into sales and into the business, obviously, because could make more money. I was looking about, hey, how could I fast track what I'm doing to get to a point where I'm going to retire? And what I ended up doing is exactly that. So I actually fast tracked it. I actually um, put my income on, I would say, on steroids for an average guy, because that's what I did. I made those commission checks, enjoyed life. I raised, my wife and I, not just me, my wife and I raised 4 kids, and we built a pretty decent nest egg. Now, the one thing I was good at was saving, and probably that's probably one of the things I want to talk to you about, and probably a bit of investing. And the investment part of what I've done didn't come into play till probably I was maybe around 48, 49, like real investment, like really putting things on steroid. And I'm talking about, like, you know, before it was all passive investment. I just put it in, put into my 401k RSP retirement savings plan, and left it. Forget it. It was sitting in mutual funds. It did what it did. Went along with my life like everyone else. Bought cars, bought nice houses, went on vacation. We did all of that, just like the rest of you, who were able to do that. And one day, I woke up and I says, you know what? I'm getting older, and I've got to retire, and I have to think about what I'm going to do. When that really happened? Around COVID time. That COVID, when we had that first lockdown, and we were home for a while, and I was used to traveling a lot. So my role required me to travel, go, all over the U.S., overseas, went throughout, the Caribbean and Latin America. Enjoyed it, but it was a lot of work. Don't get me wrong; it wasn't just fun. Everybody thought it was always having fun, especially when I went to the Caribbean for work. Um, it's funny when you're telling your friends about that. They're like, "What are you talking about? Who sends you there for work?" And it was work. You had to close deals. If you didn't close deals, you're probably going to lose your job. Like, you have to hit your quota, and anyone in sales knows exactly what I'm talking about. You got to hit your quota. Um, so I enjoyed sales, though. I mean, it was good, and I was still able to hit my quota almost all the time. Never had an issue. Um, but I was with a job, like I said. COVID came around. I started thinking about how to I started thinking about how to manage my finances better. So, you know, talking to my friends, couldn't really hang out with anybody, just hanging with them, I guess, on the phone or chatting and stuff. And everybody's like, "Yeah, what are you gonna do tonight?" "Oh yeah, we're gonna be drinking tonight," or wife and I we're figuring out how to order some booze from the local liquor store and get it delivered to us, and all of this stuff. Or you have to go wait in line to get into the liquor store to pick up your whatever your favorite thing was. And they would be having a few drinks, enjoying life, and watching movies, watching TV. So we did that. And then one day I just said, there's got to be more to life than just doing this. There really has to be. And I started watching YouTube videos, and I really started getting into the financing side of videos and started thinking about retirement and what I'm going to do. Because at that point, 2020, I was 50 years old, and I was like, I got money set aside. I haven't really, because of work and because of the pace of work, you're just constantly working, traveling, moving around, doing things, going to meetings. You don't really think about what happens when you get to, 55, 60, 65, 70. Like, those are key years that I think about. And at 50, if COVID didn't happen, I would still be going through the motions, doing everything, buy my new car, you know, furnishing the house, trying to find that next big vacation and stuff like that. And but I said I didn't want to stop all of that because those are things that I enjoyed. But put some more. I wanted to put some more structure into or a plan in place to get to an end goal. And what did I do? So I started learning how to invest and started looking into my investments and figured out that, I'll do another video on this topic here, but figured out that my financial advisor was good. I mean, I was getting an okay return with him, but he wasn't stellar. He wasn't great, and I figured out he was costing me a lot more by using him. And I thought, you know what? I eventually ended up leaving him, and I'll go through that story and why I did and how I did that. But I ended up leaving him, put my money somewhere. It took me a while, though. It took me a few years, not until 2022, because I had to really learn a lot of things, and I wasn't comfortable yet moving it and going on my own. But I did go on my own, and it's been good actually. And I put in some of the safest stocks that I could think of putting it in. And even though it was in pretty safe stocks, like blue chip style type stocks, just from the dividend payments alone, I'm doing very well. And most of what I do is dividends. I do have some other equity kind of investments, but it's usually dividends. And man, I even for safe investment, I'm happy with it, and that's the key, right? You got to be happy with it. You can't look at what other people do. I got a friend of mine who makes a lot more money on his investment. He tells me he's putting it here and putting it there. Good for him. I don't have that kind of, I guess, guts to do it. Because you got to have a lot of, you got to be courageous to do something like that. Because at the end of the day, if you lose, I mean, you gain big, but you lose big too. And I didn't want to do that. So like I said, I started doing some investments and kind of set myself up for retirement. So sitting here today at 55, going on 56, I think I did pretty good. I think I'm in a good place. I know I have enough money to last me if I decided to stop work now. I could do that. So what am I really talking about? Well, this year, or I say starting last year to this year, I kind of slowed down my work environment. I slowed down my work. I kind of basically lost some jobs, or didn't really lose, left and lost jobs. So things happen, right? So it was based on a couple of things. Sometimes you voluntarily leave your job, or you involuntarily leave your job, and it could be for a number of reasons. I mean, financially, the company that I was with decided, they had to let a few people go, and they were a small company, and I get it. Things like that happen. But I'm also, even though I was there and I could have kept doing it for maybe another 2 or 3 more years, maybe a little longer, um, I decided I was feeling a little burnt out. So the the what I'm thinking is, I don't know if I'm really burnt out. I'm just burnt out of repetitious routine and doing something that is not meaningful, I guess, is what burns me out. So it's not that I don't like to work. I love to work. I mean, even now, I haven't been working for a while, and I'm sitting in my office. I'm up in the morning by 8 o'clock. When days I'm not feeling that hot, maybe 9 o'clock. But I'm in my office. I'm creating things that I enjoy creating, and I'll get into some of the things I'm doing. So basically, he's trying to start up some businesses, and I'll talk to you about part of the challenge. I'm going to talk to you about some of the businesses I've started up, and I want you to follow me along with these businesses. I mean, I want to show you what I'm doing, and maybe you can learn from it. Maybe you can give me some advice and help me through the way. And I think that's one of the reasons I've started this, because I've been doing a bunch of stuff for a while, watching a lot of YouTube videos, and I think there's an opportunity for me to learn from you, people with different focus. Maybe you come from a different walk of life, maybe different industry. There's things you probably could share with me that I never thought about, and you can probably say, yeah, that's a great business idea, that might work, or I don't know where you're going. I don't know who's going to buy that or who's going to do that. And maybe you might think, hey, that's something I can do too, and get something out of it. So I'll share those with you in upcoming videos, as well as my strategy for retirement. So the thing is, I probably could retire right now, and I keep thinking about that. Do I want to retire? But I know I'll be bored. And when I say retirement, I think in my head I mean active retirement. So doing something, working. It doesn't have to be work. It could be volunteering too. Um, but I like work. Work for me has more meaning. I like earning money and seeing that reward. And I don't mean necessarily from a job. It could just be, get a contract, get a project. One of the things I like doing, like I'll show you this project. I built this entire area here, this deck, and all of this stuff. I don't know if the camera's going to show you all some of it, but I've built all of this stuff over here. And what I like to do stuff like this. So I can go out there and, do a project for someone in their backyard and just build the whole thing for them. And, I know that's not going to go, I can't do it forever because, you get old, your body gets tired, but I still like to build stuff. And, I built this last year, over the last 2 years, I built out this whole deck area here on myself. Had some help from my kids to hold things in place and things, but yeah, mainly by myself. I've built everything, and then so that's just kind of going off to a side there. But yeah, I like to do things. So there's things I can do to make me happy, that make me feel fulfilled, and I can earn money doing it. So, and that's some of the things I want to talk to you about. So I guess this video is about being at a crossroads, and what do you do? So I'm not a millionaire, obviously. Um, well, maybe it's not obvious, but I am not a millionaire. I just don't have the means to say, yep, I don't have to work anymore and just sit around and do nothing. But I have enough that I can live a good life if I if I cut back on certain things. Like maybe if I sell my house, I will be able to live till my dying days with everything, and live in another country or live in a smaller place right here. But those are just some of the things I'm thinking of doing. Don't know which one I'm going to do. But I like the idea of giving it a go and trying to start a business, start something fresh. And I think that's what I'm going to want to talk to you guys about. So how do we start these new businesses, freelancing, whatever it is? I'm trying to do a partnership with another friend of mine um, in a software company. So we're really trying to get this going. And I think it'll work with two of us being in there, two similar minds. Um, and I know there could be some struggles that we're going to have, and I'll share those with you. And then the other thing is some of my little other businesses that I'm doing. The third option too is maybe just getting a job again. And I don't know if I want to give myself this opportunity to try this business out and see if it works. And if it does, and then that's great. I think I'll feel a lot better about life and having control over my own destiny. And if I went to work for someone else, I mean, that would be fine too. But I just don't want to. I don't want to go and jump in and do that. So, one of the things, if you do lose your job, whether you're burnt out or you got laid off, let go, uh, I would advise, if you have some funds to set you up for a little bit, or just to try a business or try do some, consulting or freelancing, because I'm sure if you're in business, you probably have a lot of skills, a lot of things that you've learned, especially if you come from the technology and software space. There's a lot of knowledge you probably have that you can share, sell to someone. You just got to figure out how to share it and sell it and communicate what your knowledge is to other people. Because it's easy. Like you do it already. Like when you go for that job interview, you got to sell yourself. You got to prove who you are. And You're only doing it once. When you get the job, then you don't have to do it again because it might be uncomfortable for you to do. Now, I've been in sales for a long time, and I'll talk to you about how I got the sales because that was the most uncomfortable thing when I started doing it because I am a technical, introverted person at heart. And if people see me, they'll say, "Yeah, I don't think so." When I get out there talking, they think I'm the most social person, but that's because I like to speak from knowledge and authority that I have some knowledge about something. If I don't, um, I really clam up, and I don't really know how to deal with it or how to interact very well. Now I've learned skills over the years because of my sales and the skills that I've learned, but it's something you can learn too. I mean, here's for instance. I mean, I'm 55 and I'm learning how to do I'm learning all this AI stuff, and I mean, not just going on Chat GPT and doing a couple of things. I built an entire website. I'm actually getting into something called vibe coding. I'm starting to use a lot of tools that I've never used before, and I find it so fascinating, intriguing to do it. And I'm really pushing myself to learn this stuff, and it kind of gives me a headache every day because your brain. I think the headache comes from your brain absorbing so much new information and trying to process it and stuff. It's not because it's a headache, because I don't want to do this. No, it's from the absorption of information, and it's just your brain's probably rewiring itself, growing new neurons or whatever it's doing, and trying to remember all this stuff you're learning. So I think that's cool. That's good, and this world is going to continue to change, right? And as long as it's going to continue to change, we have to adopt. Because if we don't, when you get to that crossroads in your life, if you're there now or maybe not, you're going to have to figure out what to do. And it's changing, right? The world's changing. I mean, AI is doing a lot. I mean, I think for people when they were typists. I remember when I went to school, I went in high school, I went to typing class. And the only reason I think I took it is because there's a bunch of girls there. So, being one of the only guys in typing class. But I also wanted to learn how to type, really learn how to type, because I remember we had something in our school called a pet computer, and people were like, everyone with the two fingers, and I was like, that seems so efficient. And I thought, why not just learn how to type? So at school we had a typing class. I went there and learned how to type, and up to today I can type faster than I can even handwrite, which that was one of my favorite things that I remember. But imagine when you that was your job. Imagine you became a typist and that was your job. What happened after? Like maybe you became a data entry person for a while, but eventually those jobs are gone. Like you don't have someone that types your stuff up for you anymore. When you get the job, you type your own things, or now you dictate to it, and I like dictating, but dictating it gets messy. But what I like now is the AI, because I can use AI to clean up that dictation for me and make it look beautiful. So that's some cool things that you can do with AI, and there's a lot more things, but maybe I'll talk to you about some of those during this channel because I think there's so much information I have that I could share with you. Um, and as we go through this journey together, I want to talk to you and share with you some of the people that I've met along the way that have inspired me, that have helped me get to where I am. Um, and I'll share with you where they are and how they've done. And I'm hoping they're going to come on my channel. I think they will. And then maybe share with you some of the people who have made really good money doing certain things. Um, and not spectacular. They're not famous people, but they've done very well in life. And I think that's inspirational. See some of these people, and I'll tell you, from my background, since I was, a youngster, I think in grade 3, from far back as I can remember, I couldn't read very well, and I started wearing glasses when I was in grade 3, and did that. Had a problem most of my educational life, childhood life, with learning. And a lot of it is because I had this dyslexia, which I still have. It doesn't go away. And I have a reading challenge. Give me math problems. I was brilliant when it came to math. Um, I did some of the most advanced math classes that school could offer, but when it came to reading and English, oh man, I sucked. I learned how to memorize very well. I think dyslexia helped me do that because to get through things, I had to memorize because I couldn't. If somebody asked me to read, like when you go around the school and the classroom, and they ask you to read something, and I was caught off guard, and I go, oh shoot, I didn't memorize that page. I could not read that page to help me. It was a disaster, and the other kids laughing at you and stuff. But whatever, it's all in the past. But that actually makes you a little more resilient. It makes you feel like, you know what, nothing's going to stop me. I don't care what anyone thinks. I don't care. Like it happened, right? So you just keep moving on, and you become a little tougher and a little more resilient. And you know, I want to talk to you about that. That anyone can make it, and, and I think it's important, especially if there's any younger people watching and thinking it's hard. I made it, and in my eyes, from where I came from where my family came from, to where I am today, I think I've made it. I've done very well in life. Do I wish I did more? Who doesn't? Everybody wishes they've done a bit more in some ways, but am I content? Absolutely, definitely content. So this, so I think the key thing I really did want to talk to you about is when you get to these crossroads in your life, how do you deal with it, and what actions do you take? And right now, I'm sitting at that crossroad as, do I retire, which I'm thinking about, but when I mean retire, it's still working, doing some contracting work, things like that, and freelance, or do I start a business? And when I mean a business, I mean a full-blown business where, in a couple of years, I'll probably have to get some employees and deal with all of that. And, that could be a bit of a headache. Uh, if anyone's run a business, I've ran a business before, and it can be a headache having to deal with all the things you have to deal with a business. Um, and then that's the second option. The third option is, do I just get a job again and then work and just focus on it and do my 3 more years, or it's probably more like 4 more years, and then retire at 60 and just bank all that money as much as I possibly can and then retire. I mean, I think that's my three options I'm faced with right now. At the end of the day, there is no option of just retiring and sitting and watching TV and playing pickleball, because I'll be bored out of my mind in like a month. I can't do that. But I will find something to do um, that I'm going to say passionate about it, and I'm going to say it, quote unquote, because I'm passionate about a lot of things, but I'm not going to do everything as a business because it doesn't make sense. Um, but there are things that I'm passionate about putting things together and seeing it get to putting things together and seeing it succeed, or seeing it materialized into something. And I think that's what I want to see happen. So that's what I'm passionate about, and that's what I want to share with you during the video series I'm going to be putting together. So stay tuned. I will come back to you, and if you want to see me again, hit that like and subscribe button. Like everyone says, hit that like and subscribe. And of course, you'll see me again, and we will have a follow-up conversation. Thank you for hanging out with me. Take care.